So how do you value a portfolio of properties? So it depends on what the type of properties are, where they're located, and things like that. So it's very specific to the type of property and the location. So many times a seller will bundle a number of properties of like kind, or it could be a mixed bag, and they try to sell it as a cap rate deal because they think that will bring them a better price. And the problem with that is that when you have a mixed bag of properties, different types, whether they're single family, multifamily combined of different sizes, different ages, and different locations, that's not going to be valued on a cap rate by anybody, including an appraiser, a lender, or anybody like that. And even your more sophisticated investors, they will not value that package based on the income. What they're going to do, and what you have to do as an investor, is you have to look at each individual property. So it doesn't matter what it is, any type of package of properties, unless you're buying notes, that's a different situation when you're buying a bundle of notes from a servicer. But we're talking about individual properties being sold by an investor owner that's accumulated properties over a number of years. The only way to value that is to look at each individual property. And the values are going to be based on one of three things: either income, depending on the type of property, it'll be valued off its income, it'll be valued off the comps, and replacement cost. That's really the three things that appraisers look at when valuing property. So if it's less than 5 units, it's going to be comps and replacement cost. And if it's rural properties where there's no comps, you got to look at the appraisal in terms of replacement cost. What does it cost to duplicate that property? And then they have to look at comps in other areas. If it's 5 units and up, or if it's commercial or industrial type property, then it'll be a cap rate valuation. But then they'll also look at comps, and they're going to look at replacement cost on those as well. But primarily, multifamily commercial properties are income valuation plays. So the bottom line is, when you're looking at a multiple of properties, you need to value each property differently based on the individual property. And it's not equal in terms of the operation. So when you have mixed properties like that, when you have a portfolio of properties, it's much more difficult to manage your operational efficiencies, economies of scale, capex, vacancies. All of those things are dramatically different on scattered property portfolios than they are on larger properties or multiple units under one roof. So you just need to be aware of those things when you're looking at portfolios. They're not always worth more together, but there are certain types of assets that are worth more together. Like if you have a package of 100-unit multifamily properties and you've got 10 or 12 of them, that is exponentially worth more as a package than individually a lot of times. And the same thing with other types of properties. A bunch of packaged up single tenant triple net properties might be worth more to a buyer than individuals, depending on the buyer. So there are some cases where that portfolio is going to be worth more. There are some cases where that portfolio is going to be worth less, depending on what types of properties are, where they're located, what kind of condition they're in, things like that. So those are the things you want to look at when valuing a portfolio of properties.